Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Chris Nelson. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Asiana Airlines could be suspending flights to the NMI in the near future in what would be a big blow to tourism. Also tonight, the NMI is on a not-so-secret blacklist over crime concerns. And we head to the crossroads of Asia and Europe and talk Turkey. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
What's the move? Tryna wild out, catch a groove. She said, where you going? What's the move? Tryna wild out, catch a groove. What's the move?
Across the nation, more and more people are driving under the influence of drugs. The CNMI Department of Public Safety would like to remind you to drive safe this holiday season. Do not drive while under the influence of marijuana, opioids, methamphetamines, or other potentially impairing drugs, including prescription and over-the-counter medication. These drugs can impair your driving and can put you and others in harm's way. Be responsible this holiday season. It's not just your life at risk, but the lives of the people around you. Don't let one poor choice ruin the holidays for you or your loved ones. Drive safe this holiday season.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the CNMI Department of Public Safety.
Remember, if you feel different, you drive different.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hafaday, Tirwami, and good evening, Commonwealth. It is Monday, December the 26th, and you're watching the Channel 2 News. Though no official announcement has been made, industry insiders say Asiana Airlines could stop flying to the NMI as soon as March. The Marriott Visitors Authority Board met on Friday morning. The board of the Marriott Visitors Authority met on Friday and received updates on Japan, Korea, and China. Asiana Airlines, which currently is involved in a proposed sale with Korean Airlines, may be suspending service to Saipan in March as they continue in cost-cutting measures while regulators examine their deal with the larger Korean airlines. The deal was announced 2 years ago but has yet to be approved by regulators. Korean Airlines currently offers service to Guam while Asiana flies to Saipan. China is slowly beginning to ease some of the draconian COVID restrictions that have been in place under the zero COVID policy, but has now stopped reporting daily COVID cases. COVID's now sweeping through China, though official numbers are hard to come by. Jennifer Tan of Century Group says the info they have is not official, but it's no doubt very, very widespread.
If you look at official numbers, I think if you look at Shanghai, I think it's still like in the thousands, but the reality is, I mean, in my Shanghai office, I'm 100% down right now. So everybody has COVID.
That could mean as many as 1 million cases a day, and the infection could peak around the first of the year. Because of the mass infection happening so quickly, it's thought the Chinese may begin traveling internationally within the next few months. Chinese tourism accounted for a large percentage of travelers to Saipan. The Parole in Place program allows the tourists to travel here without a U.S. visa. Century Tours is one of two companies that operate charter flights from China. On Friday, Tan of Century says that while Chinese tourists may begin traveling internationally, the NMI currently has a number of hurdles to restarting tourism from China. Currently, the government of China has Saipan on a blacklist, and that means that operators are not allowed to operate charter flights or even advertise the destination. The blacklist originally was put in place because of the IPI casino, but Tan says it has evolved into a public safety concern.
The main issues are junket and Chinese-owned casinos, because Chinese-owned casinos are targeting Chinese tourists. So Saipan no longer has this. It's no longer, there's no Chinese-owned casino because it was revoked, and I think junket was also banned. So why we're still on the blacklist, to be honest, is a little bit of a mystery to me. My understanding is there's concern about safety of Chinese citizens coming to Saipan.
Previously, there were a number of unsolved murders of Chinese citizens here in Saipan.
We're trying to encourage the new administration, once inauguration, that they should contact perhaps the Chinese embassy in LA and talk through these issues, because the casino is no longer the concern. It's safety of Chinese citizens.
Two other issues in resuming tourism from China. The CNMI PCR test, currently not recognized by China in their COVID protocols, and absent charter flights, customers who want to transit here via Korea to access our shores need a U.S. visa to do so under current regs. Tan says best case scenario is that Chinese tourism could happen in summer of 2023. Meanwhile, flights from Korea are showing strong demand for the Lunar New Year period.
Every single seats are sold out, so it's very difficult situation, but I have one opportunity willing to share with the board.
In November, the last month that numbers are available from MVA, 8,723 Koreans visited the NMI. In November of 2019, now that is going back 3 years, just before COVID hit, the Korean tourism number was 26,408. So at least in November, the market has returned to about 33% of normal. TAMS, the marketing agency that represents MVA in Korea, has asked the board to partially subsidize a series of charter flights for the Lunar New Year period to help increase the number of seats available in the marketplace. More tonight now on the NMI being blacklisted for Chinese tourists due to safety concerns about crime, murder, and missing persons. NMI still has several murder and missing person cases that remain open. The Luke sisters went missing in 2011. That case remains open, and the girls have never been found. December of 2012, married couple from China, Jun Li Yang and Jing Lu, were found murdered in their San Vicente home. That case unsolved. In February of 2014, two Chinese nationals, Zheng King Ji and Ji Guo Hinan, were found murdered in their burned-down house in Ascono. No one's been arrested in that case. June of 2014, two sisters visiting from Japan, Natsuko and Chinatsu Yamada, went missing from Wing Beach and have never been found. In November of 2014, bodies of Li Hai Ren and Li Cheng, Chinese nationals, were found near the Koblerville airstrip. Unsolved homicides. In January of 2015, Ji Yuan Li, owner of Fresh Market, disappeared. That case remains open. Also in 2015, Anna Maria Lemus Sablon was found murdered in Olei. Poker security guard James Patrick de Leon Guerrero was shot to death in San Antonio. This prompted a visit by the Chinese consulate. 4 members came in 2015. Here's some sound from then acting Governor Ralph Torres.
One is that to echo their concern about some of the cases, Chinese missing, that has not been resolved. They wanted to see what is the update on those cases, and also see if they can provide or what can be done to continue the investigation of those cases so that they can get into closure.
On Friday, Governor-elect Arnold Palacios commenting on the Chinese concern over safety.
I fully understand the lingering unsolved murders that have occurred in the past years, and those issues have to be explained, looked at, and to the extent that we can, assure people that the cinema is a safe destination.
We welcome back tonight Miss Northern Marianas delegate as she talks more in depth about her journey in the pageant world. Our Milan Goodwin has more.
Over the past few weeks, Miss Northern Marianas Savannah De Los Santos competed in the 60th annual Miss International pageant. Savannah placed in the top 15, making it the first time the NMI has placed in any Big Five pageant.
So this is actually the first time that the Northern Marianas has made a placement within all Big Five pageants. So within Miss International and like any other pageants that we've been a part of. So we definitely made history, and we're hoping that after this that we can continue to send more queens and hopefully place in the future.
While competing at Miss International, Savannah used her platform to speak out about violence against children, but it was shaped by Savannah's platform here in the CNMI.
My platform specifically that I used for the Miss International pageant ties really closely to the work that I do now. So my entire reign as Miss Northern Marianas has been focused on being a voice for victims and survivors of domestic violence and sexual violence. It's an issue that really, really hits home for me because it's something that I can relate to on a more personal level. And I guess to be a little bit more vulnerable. So in terms of domestic violence, my family and I actually stayed at the only domestic violence shelter here within the CNMI. So for about 9 years on and off. So a majority of my childhood life was me living in the shelter here. So with that being said, I really utilized my platform to focus on those two issues within the community and just throughout the world.
Savannah used her experience growing up to speak out and support others in similar situations.
I had volunteered at a domestic violence shelter in California, and there was this little girl that was there with me who she wanted to eat her birthday cupcake with me, and I was like kind of not sure if her mom was going to be okay with her sitting next to me, but then her mom talked a little bit about their background, like why they were in the shelter, and she seemed kind of ashamed, but she was also saying how her daughter never came into contact with people outside of the shelter so often. And when I had told her that I was going to be graduating from college, she was so happy because I talked a little bit about our personal experiences as well. And she was just very proud to see that there were children who grew up in that type of environment, but were still doing great things in the world.
After becoming the 2022 Miss Northern Marianas delegate and placing in the top 15 at the Miss International pageant, Savannah felt proud to represent and bring hope to people of similar backgrounds.
But I was thinking about how there were other girls and like other children or other people in the world who were probably watching my entire journey, and they, in a way, it was like because I had made it that far, coming from the background that I came from and then coming from a small island, and not being your typical beauty queen standard, that I was really fighting for them, or I was like representing them. I was representing people who are not really represented in this type of industry, and I was just so proud. So I think that was the one thing that I thought about instantly, that that mother and that daughter that I had seen at that shelter were going to be so proud of me, and if they had known that they would feel hope, I guess, in everything that they're going through.
By making history at this year's Miss International pageant, Savannah certainly has inspired many people of the CNMI and around the world. Milan Goodwin for the Channel 2 News.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month, plus a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
This holiday season, get your goods here with care and attention using Micronesian Air Cargo Services. MAX is all about connections. Daily flights to and from Guam, 4 times a week to Rota, bi-weekly flights to Tinian. We are connecting the Marianas. So you do the shopping and we'll do the shipping. Perishable goods, Home Depot furniture and appliances, even live animals quickly and cost effectively. Operating since 2013, check out our Thursday special to Rota from Guam and Saipan. Call Max at 670-288-6227. If it fits, we'll take it. At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
It's okay to take a friend or parent's medication. It came from a doctor, right?
Using someone's prescription is really risky. Taking any drugs for which you have not been medically screened is not only dangerous, but taking an opioid that was not prescribed for you is also illegal. Never borrow and never share prescribed medication. Your life and your loved one's life could depend on it. Talk to your doctor about prescribed opioids. Never mix with alcohol, and remember, never borrow, never share. It only takes a little to lose a lot.
This project was supported by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Contents are solely the responsibility of CHCC and do not necessarily represent the official views of the CDC or the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Subway just dropped an all-new menu of 12 sandwiches. They call it the Subway Series.
The Subway Series has 4 new categories of subs: cheesesteaks, Italianos, chicken, and clubs.
With a sandwich series like that, I'll be a happy Subway cereal eater. Subway Series. What's your pick?
Welcome back. You're watching the Monday night edition of the Channel 2 News, and we have more tonight on the crossroads between Asia and Europe. Let's go on a magic carpet ride. Istanbul sits on both sides of the Bosphorus Strait, the body of water that connects the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. Leanne Lone, formerly of Saipan and IT&E, is now an Istanbul resident, and she is showing us around her newly adopted city. Istanbul has 15 million residents and over 3,000 mosques. In Turkey, 5 times a day you hear music like this.
Suat, exactly.
And that means?
Su means the water, at means true.
And this means it's time to pray.
Each time is different. If you compare summer to winter, it's always different times. So before the prayer, he always called people for pray.
Suat is Kurdish, and we are on a rooftop of his just next to the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, constructed during the Ottoman era. Built between 1609 and 1616, it has 5 main domes, 8 secondary domes, and 6 minarets. It's also affectionately known as the Blue Mosque. The minarets are the tall, slender towers from which the faithful are called to pray. Each minaret stands for a Muslim article of faith.
First of them is the belief in the oneness of God, and the second one is the belief in all messengers of God and the angels. We believe in angels.
Other articles include belief in the afterlife, holy books, and destiny. Pope Benedict XVI visited the Blue Mosque in 2006 during his visit to Turkey. It was only the second visit by a pope in history to a Muslim place of worship. Suat and his family are in the carpet business, and business post-COVID has been difficult.
After the pandemic, we don't see the people who has money, to be honest, because Turkey is very cheap for the most people. it's not expensive country, because you know we have inflations. Can you imagine, before the pandemic $1 like was 4 lira, today is almost 19 lira.
What's your favorite thing that you're most proud of about Istanbul?
The rich history. It's a city like it was a capital of the different empire, 3 different empires, you know.
Suat takes us into his warehouse and says it takes about 16 months to make one of these rugs.
The nuts, the working ships are. Look, I just want you to know this. We have some carpet. The working ship of this is very important. Look, when you use the backside of this also, you can see. When you have the people you don't like so much, you can use backside. When you have the people you love so much, you can use the right side. And by the way, this is carpet which has got Angora wool.
Carpets come in a variety of materials and come with a variety of stories. This particular carpet's from an area that they believe contains Noah's Ark, and it has an animal theme to it. Still others feature dragons.
This one has a very interesting story as well. So as you see, like this is the head of the dragon we call, because we believe that the Roman mythologists say that the dragon is one of the animals trying to protect the gate of the paradise.
Suat says a rug this size sells for about $1,800 US. On the weekends, the Turks love to go to late-night dinners that then turn into a mixture of music, performances, and dancing. This is on the European side of Istanbul at one of the popular restaurants. Dale Roberts grabs a window seat. Music is pretty loud, and it's hard to have much of a conversation. A few minutes later, the lights go down and the volume goes up. Turks stand up and dance whenever the mood strikes them, just right next to their tables, and it is soon standing room only, with a variety of performances that happen throughout the night. And there is traditional belly dancing too. Turks are all about service, and the food is delivered throughout the night with sparklers to light up the immediate area. Reporting from Istanbul, Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The largest show in the Pacific is looking for dancers to work on Guam. The show, Carrera, an island, a journey, an adventure. This is a unique opportunity for dancers from Saipan, Tinian, Rota, and beyond. Polynesian and contemporary dancers for one show nightly, 5 days per week, offering competitive pay, airline flights, and even housing for off-island hires. Join the cast and experience working with a world-class creative team that has worked with Madonna, Celine Dion, U2, and Cirque du Soleil. Show now in pre-production. It will begin in March. Casting call on now. Up to 40 dancers are needed. Send bios and photos to casting@baldiga.com. Sandcastle Guam. Casting call. Apply now.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Ghost Gym, and today I want to go over some exercises that you can easily apply into your current exercise program. Now I have here with me Vince, and he's going to be demoing some of those exercises. Now the first one today is going to be a one-arm dumbbell row. Before I have Vince here execute a few reps, what we want to remember with virtually any exercise is your setup. If you start in a bad position, it's not going to look good, and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common mistake with here is obviously a rounded upper back, and as you can see, he's not very rigid or stable. So what we're gonna do is correct that just a little bit. So his supporting arm and his leg that's supported on the bench as well we wanna lock that in. Open up that leg a little bit to allow for a better path on that dumbbell. with the elbows coming up way too high, you can see the shoulders riding forward, and that's not what we want. So ideally, what you want to think about is pulling with your elbows and stopping right at the midline of your body. So in this position right here, you can feel his entire upper back along with his core.
Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
The Tan Soo Lin Foundation promotes the culture of giving back. The foundation and its generous partners are committed to supporting programs that include health, education, and sports. Initiatives that promote arts and culture, the environment, and tourism will benefit our community and our residents. Giving back and making a difference will help ensure that the island paradise we call home will be a better place to live.
Today wraps up a 4-day weekend for many government workers. Friday was administrative leave. Today, the official government holiday for Christmas. And here's a Christmas message from Governor-elect Arnold Palacios.
The election is over, and I want to encourage everybody to get together with families, enjoy the holidays, enjoy the Christmas season, and let's all hope for a peaceful and prosperous 2023. That's something that we will be working for, and that's something that we should hope for. We should give that hope to our people. There are so many decent people in the Commonwealth that want to do right for our island and our community. And I think we have been on this roller coaster ride for almost 10 years now. It's time to settle down and make this the paradise that we all dream of. And some of us seen it, albeit much more simpler. But I tell you, growing up, I'm a really, my sense is deeply rooted in family values, and as you know, most members of these communities are, and you know, so for Christmas, I hope that every family gets together, enjoy being families, and look forward to and we'll work towards a better and prosperous 2023 and beyond.
Merry Christmas to all of you from all of us here at Channel 2 News. That is news for this evening on the 26th of December, and we will see you Wednesday night. Good night.